Hello, everybody, and welcome to True Crime Time for Monday, April 21st, 2025. And I am not Woody Overton. I am Cyndi Overton. And I hope that everyone had a great and safe Easter. You got the golden egg. You had a great meal. You spent time with friends and family. You spent time relaxing, reading a book, watching a TV show, had a crawfish boil, had some steak or roasted a lamb. I have no idea what your family does, but whatever it does do, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that it was the best Easter you have ever had. As for me and my family, it was a bittersweet Easter, and we will wait for Woody to come back to explain that. But I just want to take a moment to let y'all know that the Overton family is experiencing an extreme loss at this time. And because of that, I am going to do the best that I can to continue to push out episodes in the best way that I can and keep the show going in the best way that I can. So thank you for your patience and understanding and continued support during this time. One of the things that I thought about the other night, and I thought it would be a really fun idea to implement, was and is to have you, our wonderful lifers, tell stories of your own in a segment that we're going to call True Crime Time with the Lifers. And what that looks like is you telling your own story that you want to tell, crime related, of course, and or you find a story that you think is intriguing, something that we would love to hear, and you record your version of it and send it to me at Cyndi, CYNDI, at realliferealcrime.com. I will edit it into an episode and push those stories out for the next at least 3 days for True Crime Time for this week of April 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. I want to at least use the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th to be lifer stories. We do already have one in. It's a great anonymous story. I am not going to tell you who it is because I promised this person that they would remain anonymous. And I hope that this person sends in more. And I hope that the rest of y'all join in. To record is easy. You can go to your voice memos on your phone and hit the record button and then share it to me. And that's as easy as it gets. So as far as an Android phone, to be honest, I'm not quite sure how that works. I'm assuming that they have some type of recording app on Androids as well. If it is a longer story, we can figure that out. If it's something that's going to require a little bit more time, we can figure that out. But I don't think that we're going to have any time problems by you recording voice memos on your phone and sending them to me. And I will get them uploaded, composed into an episode, and pushed out. So I hope that that works for y'all. I hope that y'all really enjoy this fun addition to the show. We will then, after this week, incorporate it into episodes weekly. So depending on the number of stories we get, we will do it in 1 or 2 episodes a week, maybe 1 or 2 stories at a time. I am also going to let you know when I add your story to an episode. That way you can have your friends and family join in on the fun and listen to you on True Crime Time 4. And I think that's going to be fun. So I have another thing that I have to say. I cannot go without mentioning this. I want to say a huge congratulations to our son for running his first 10K this past weekend. He placed 153rd in his age group, and there are pictures on social media. We are so proud of him. He started training for this very recently. He has never raced before, and he set his goal and he succeeded. And I am so proud of him. He is now registered for the Louisiana Marathon, which is in January. And his ultimate goal is to be an Ironman. And I know Kimmy, your hubby, is an Ironman. So maybe they can do an Ironman together. I don't think guys run side by side and swim side by side and bike side by side in Ironman. I don't know, but thought maybe that would be cool for them to bond over that. I know y'all met Ellie at, I think it was a crew bash in 2021 or maybe 2022 at the Hilton, hanging out in the wee hours of the morning. But anyway, let's get started with today's episode. I'm going to be first starting with the tragic incident of the Florida State University shooting. It's so sad. It's just sad. So I'm just going to begin. And as I'm sure most of you know the story now, but I just want to tell it from the True Crime Time 4 perspective. So it was noon on Thursday, April 17th, 2025. And it was kind of quiet, at Florida State University Student Union. And students and faculty and staff were just going about their day, obviously unaware that within minutes their lives would be irrevocably changed. At approximately 11:56 a.m., 20-year-old political science student Phoenix Ickner opened fire near the student union. He was armed with a handgun and a shotgun, and he began a shooting spree that lasted for 4 minutes. And I wish that I could do a Woody thing right now, like where he likes to pound, not like he likes to, but he'll use a demonstration of like beating on a table or the wall behind him when we're talking about like stabbing someone a certain amount of times. And I would just like to do a 4-minute, honestly, I would like to do a 4-minute moment of silence for these victims, but I don't think y'all want to hear 4 minutes of dead space. So we're just going to imagine what that 4 minutes felt like to everybody and how long and how terrorizing that was. But Ickner, who had arrived on campus in an orange Hummer, first attempted to use a shotgun. The shotgun jammed, and so then he switched to his handgun, and he fired indiscriminately, of course, causing chaos and panic among those present. Students barricaded themselves in classrooms. Some even chewed gum to affix paper over windows to hide from the shooter. One student recounted hearing 15 rounds fired in rapid succession. Another survivor, Madison Askins, described how the shooter approached her, reloaded his weapon, and calmly said, "Keep running." So who are the victims? Well, everybody that was there is a victim, but 2 individuals lost their lives in the attack. A 57-year-old campus dining director and former assistant football coach, Robert Morales, lost his life, and Tiru Chaba, 45 years old, and he was a regional vice president of Aramark Collegiate Hospitality. And that is, I think it's Aramark. I think I said that wrong. If I am saying this correctly, it's the same one that Southeastern Louisiana University, where we will be doing our live event in July. That's the same hospitality group that they use, their food services. Even though both were not students, they were definitely integral members of the university community. And then there were 6 others that were injured, including a 23-year-old graduate student who was shot while running away. So shot in the back. He was fleeing. And all injured victims were reported to be in fair condition and, thank goodness, expected to recover. So let me tell you a little bit about the shooter. Phoenix Ickner, born Christian Gunnar Erickson. He had like a really tough, tumultuous upbringing. His parents engaged in a prolonged custody battle, culminating in his mother abducting him to Norway in 2015. And then at some point they returned. After their return, Ickner lived with his father and stepmother. And Jessica Ickner, the stepmother, was a longtime Leon County Sheriff's deputy. Phoenix was known on campus for espousing far-right, white supremacist views and had been expelled from a university debate club for his extremist rhetoric. Investigators revealed that he used his stepmother's former service weapon in the attack. So what happened once he stopped firing, right? Law enforcement responded swiftly, and Ickner was shot by police after refusing to comply with commands and was taken into custody with non-life-threatening injuries. The campus was placed on lockdown and classes were canceled for the remainder of the week. Students returned to campus the following day to retrieve belongings and pay respects to makeshift memorials adorned with balloons, candles, and teddy bears. The shooting has obviously sent shockwaves through the community and the nation, and Governor DeSantis and President Donald Trump offered condolences, with President Donald Trump reaffirming his support for the Second Amendment. And Fred Guttenberg, father of Parkland shooting victim Jamie Guttenberg, expressed anguish, noting that some of his daughter's friends, which were now Florida State University students, had survived their second school shooting. And as I said that, I got goosebumps. And of course, you know me by now, I'm going to tear up. And so can you imagine? I just hope that those students are getting the help and support that they need. All of them. But experiencing 2 and surviving is amazing. And that's just really emotional. So the Florida State University shooting is a reminder of this pervasive issue of gun violence in educational institutions. And it makes you question even more how these tragedies can be prevented. And if Phoenix wasn't able to get a hold of a gun or guns, he would have used knives. And if he couldn't, I'm assuming this, but my point is if someone doesn't have access to guns, like we tell stories all the time of people in places where they don't have access to guns, they will use a knife. They will make a bomb, run over people. Like if someone wants to harm, they will. And so my question is, how do we stop it? At some point, are we going to be able to develop a profile and be able to hopefully see the tendencies in someone's behavior and help us to stop this? I don't know. I don't know. If Woody was here, he would have a lot to say about it. He would say I have no idea what he would say. I would think that he would say that would be impossible because you have no idea what's going to make someone snap, what the motivation is, just everybody's, very unique, but they've been able to do it for serial killers. And sometimes, it doesn't happen exactly the way they think. Just like with Derek Todd Lee, they thought he was a white male and he wasn't. So sometimes those profiles don't work, but they've been developed for a reason. So I don't know. I really don't know. And I don't want to speculate, and I don't want to offer anything other than condolences for those sweet people and their families and all of the students at FSU and the faculty. And I just hope that there's speedy recovery and everyone gets the support that they need. So we're going to go to another story. And the beginning of this story takes place on October 2nd, 2017 in the quiet city of Medford, Oregon. It was shaken by a crime that would unravel a tale of forbidden love, alleged abuse, and meticulously planned murder. So it starts off with a disappearance. Maggie Friar's frantic 911 call reported her ex-husband, who is 50-year-old Aaron Friar, and their 15-year-old daughter, Ellen Friar, as missing. And upon arrival at Aaron's home, police discovered a gruesome scene. Blood-spattered walls, shattered glass, and a trail of blood leading to an unknown destination. Aaron's car was also missing, and it was captured on a neighbor's security camera, leaving the residence around 5:30 a.m. So an investigation ensued, and all hands were on deck, and they mobilized the Medford police detectives, including Detective Bill Ford and Detective Shannon Reynolds. And their initial assumption was that Ellie might have been a victim of homicide. However, hope surfaced when Ellie's 11-year-old sister, Sierra, provided some crucial information. Sierra recalled waking up to her father's yelling and the sound of something crashing at 5 a.m. She also reported seeing two individuals walking back and forth outside, one of whom she identified as 22-year-old Russell Jones. So approximately 4 hours after the initial report, Ellie was found unharmed, walking alongside a busy street with her 19-year-old boyfriend, Gavin McFarland, and Russell Jones. All three were taken into custody for questioning. During the interrogation, Russell Jones, who is known for being talkative, was offered a cigarette by Detective Ford. And this was a tactic referred to as smoking and joking. And I wish that Woody was here because he would be able to tell you so many stories of when he used this tactic. And he also tells stories of using the tactic when he knows that he's fixing to, as he calls it, get the juice out of someone and take them outside for a cigarette. And there's another thing that happens right before he knows they're ready to confess once that person gets the cigarette, and then everything is in play. So I guess that's kind of what this is like. This approach led Jones to confess his involvement and direct police to Aaron Friar's body, which was found wrapped in a green tarp and a Tinkerbell fleece blanket off a remote highway, 20 miles north of Aaron's home. The murder weapon was a bloody baseball bat, and it was discovered lodged in a nearby tree. So why? Obviously, what's the motive? Their investigations revealed that Aaron had forbidden Ellie from seeing McFarland, leading to tensions, and text messages between Ellie and McFarland indicated a plot to kill Aaron. In one message, Ellie wrote, "We need to make sure he's dead by the time we leave his house." And another read, "You can kill him in less than a minute, right?" Oh my gosh, that's just sick. This is her father she's talking about, just because he won't let her date McFarland. Ellie claimed that her father was abusive. She has alleged physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. However, these claims were not substantiated by evidence or corroborated by her sisters, who described Aaron as a loving father. Detectives remain skeptical of Ellie's allegations, noting inconsistencies in her statements.
Did you know there's an online cannabis company that ships federally legal THC right to your door? And they found a way to combine THC with carefully selected functional ingredients to target nearly every mood and health concern you can think of. I'm talking about Mood.com's incredible line of functional gummies. And you can get 20% off your first order at Mood.com with promo code RLRC. Forget one-size-fits-all supplements that only get you high. Mood's functional gummies are optimized to kick in as little as 15 minutes and take you to the mood that you're looking for. Whether that's Mind Magic Gummies for deep work and creativity, PMS support to ease cramps and balance mood swings, or their sexual euphoria gummies to help you feel ready for action and turn every touch into a full body experience. Look, y'all, you know I have trouble sleeping. I take the Sleepy Time gummy. I take a quarter of one before I go to sleep, and I sleep hard all night long. Never even move, wake up feeling fresh as a daisy. So listen, you can find gummies to just get you high pretty much anywhere these days. But Mood's functional gummies combine premium federal legal THC with targeted botanicals to help you get into that perfect mood, usually in as little as 15 minutes. And everything ships discreetly right to your door. No dispensary lines, no awkward conversations, just better days and nights delivered to your doorstep. Best of all, not only is every Mood product backed by a 100-day satisfaction guarantee, but as I mentioned, listeners get 20% off their first order with code RLRC. So head to Mood.com, find the functional gummy that matches exactly what you're looking for, and let Mood help you discover your perfect mood. And don't forget to use promo code RLRC when you check out to save 20% on your first order.
So in October of 2018, Gavin McFarland pleaded guilty to murder and conspiracy to commit murder and received a sentence of 25 years to life. And I say it all the time. Please, if you know you're guilty, obviously you know you're guilty, but please don't make us spend so much time, money, energy on your defense when you don't deserve one. So thank goodness Gavin did that. But in January of 2019, Ellie Friar also, thank goodness, pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit murder and was sentenced to 25 years. Russell Jones entered a non-contest plea to conspiracy to commit murder in August of 2021 and received a 15-year sentence. Ellie Friar, who's now 23 years old, has been serving her sentence in a juvenile detention center and is set to be transferred to an adult prison in December of 2026. And while she has been in prison, she has earned 2 master's degrees. Her younger sister, Sierra, has joined the National Guard, honoring her father's aspirations for her. And this is just a tragic case that we never, ever, ever know what's going on inside of a family, what family relationships look like, and what abuse looks like to one child is different than another. I mean, obviously sexual abuse is sexual abuse, but I don't know. It's just horrible. So I'm just glad that they pled guilty, they're serving their time, and that's it. Like, kudos to them, I guess, for doing the right thing in that way, at least in my opinion. But I'm going to move on, and we're going to go to New York City. On April 18th of 2025 in New York City, there was a lot of people in a courtroom, and they were there to see Sean Diddy Combs. And as y'all know, he is a titan in the industry, in the music industry, and he's now facing some grave allegations, and the judge's decision was clear on this day. Combs' request to delay his upcoming trial was denied, setting the stage for the legal battle that has captured national attention. So a little bit of the timeline of events. So on September 16th of 2024, Combs was arrested following a federal indictment on charges including sex trafficking and racketeering. And the arrest stemmed from a series of investigations and civil lawsuits, notably one filed by his former partner, Cassie Ventura, and she alleged abuse and exploitation. Then on October 10th of 2024, Judge Aaron Subramanian scheduled the trial to commence on May 5th, 2025, and Combs pleaded not guilty to all charges. Then in March of 2025, a superseding indictment introduced additional charges and a new alleged victim, intensifying the case against Combs. On April 18th, 2025, Judge Subramanian denied Combs' legal team request for a 2-month trial delay asserting that the defense had sufficient time to prepare. So the trial is set for May 5th, 2025, and it will remain there. So that is it on the P. Diddy story. And I have one more story to tell you, and this is a quest for justice. And this is a 53-year quest for justice. So I'm going to take you back to July 7th, 1972. And 26-year-old Phyllis Baylor embarked on a journey from Indianapolis to Bluffton, Indiana, with her 3-year-old daughter. They were en route to visit Phyllis's parents. And the trip was just like over 100 miles. So not a far trip. I mean, you could do that in a couple hours, right? So tragically, they never reached their destination. So Phyllis and her daughter departed around 8 p.m. And when they failed to arrive in Bluffton, the family members were concerned and reported them missing. The following morning at approximately 10:30 a.m., Phyllis's car was discovered abandoned on the northbound highway of I-69 in Grant County, Indiana. But the hood was up and no one was in sight. About an hour later, a passerby found Phyllis's body in a ditch alongside West Road in Allen County, with her daughter unharmed beside her. So an investigation, of course, was started, and the autopsy revealed that Phyllis had been sexually assaulted and died from a single gunshot wound to the head. And at the time, DNA testing was not available. And despite extensive investigations, no arrests were made. Years later, a partial DNA profile was developed from evidence collected at the scene, but it was insufficient to identify a suspect. But as we know, there's been many breakthroughs in forensic genealogy. So in 2024, advancements in DNA technology allowed the Indiana State Police Laboratory to develop a more comprehensive DNA profile from the evidence. And collaborating with Identifiers International, which is a forensic genealogy company, investigators utilized the genetic genealogy to identify the suspect. And that's exciting. So, I mean, of course, I say it's exciting because we're getting a case solved here, which is amazing. So in early 2025, they matched the DNA to Fred Allen Linneman, who would have been 25 years old at the time of the murder. So let me tell you about Mr. Fred Allen Linneman. I don't think I'm saying it right, but he was originally from the Anderson area in Indiana, had a significant criminal history, including car theft. He had no known connection to Phyllis Baylor. Investigators discovered that he was murdered in Detroit in 1985 at the age of 37. And if he were alive today, authorities stated he would have been charged with her murder. So he kept living that risky lifestyle and it caught up with him, and he's no longer here. But anyway, at least the families, in my opinion, have answers. They know who did it. Obviously, they don't have a motive, but they at least have answers. And that's, I think, the only thing, not the only thing. There would be so many things that would kill me if I didn't know who my child, I don't even want to go there. So this case underscores the power of forensic genetic genealogy in solving cold cases. As Colleen Fitzpatrick, the founder of Identifiers International, noted, this case is an example of still another homicide that would never have been solved without forensic genetic genealogy. And after more than 5 decades, Phyllis Baylor's family finally has answers, bringing a measure of closure to a long-standing tragedy. And that poor little girl that was sitting next to her mama, waiting for someone to come. I can't imagine, and I hope that she is safe and secure and has had a wonderful life. I wish that I had some information on her and how she's doing. One more story about a Canadian drummer. So on April 9th, 2025, the music world was rocked. Well, I guess it was the music world. I'm not in the music world. But it was rocked by the arrest of Joseph Paul Saders. He was a 44-year-old drummer for the Canadian indie rock band. And get the name, the New Pornographers. He was known, Saders, S-E-I-D-E-R-S, was known for his multi-instrumental talents and contribution to the band's success since 2014. And he now faces serious charges of child sexual abuse materials. With a name like that, what do you expect? But the investigation began on April 7th when an 11-year-old boy reported to authorities that a man had recorded him with his cell phone while he was using the restroom at a Chick-fil-A in Palm Desert, California. 2 days later, on April 9th, deputies received another report from the same location about a man exhibiting similar suspicious behavior. And upon arrival, the police approached Saders at the scene. A subsequent search of his vehicle, his home, and cell phone uncovered evidence linking him to the incidents and revealed possession of child sex abuse materials. So he's now been charged with possession of child sex abuse materials, molesting a child, invasion of privacy, and attempted invasion of privacy. He is currently held on $1 million bail at the John J. Benoit Detention Center in Indio, California, with a court appearance scheduled for tomorrow, April 22nd. So what does the band say about this? Well, the New Pornographers expressed their shock and dismay over the allegations, stating on Instagram, "Everyone in the band is absolutely shocked, horrified, and devastated by the news of the charges against Joe Saders, and we have immediately severed all ties with him." So, in conclusion, as the investigation continues, authorities believe there may be, he doesn't just start going to Chick-fil-A doing this. There may be additional victims, and they urge anyone and everyone with information to come forward. You know, when my kids were little, they would come with me to the bathroom. And even at the age that these, an 11-year-old, my 11-year-olds would not come into the bathroom with me. But there's just no way of protecting them. And thank goodness they reported it, and they just didn't think that it was okay that this man was, recording them or whatever. So kudos to them. Kudos to their family for probably having a talk with them about stranger danger and how to stay safe in public. Thank goodness for that. And I think I'm going to end this here today. I do have a couple more stories to tell, but it's just me flying solo, and hoping that you're still here. You probably turned this off when you were like, oh no, Woody, I'm not going to be here anymore. But I do want to, again, just please ask for prayers for the Overton family at this time. Like I said at the top of this, Woody will definitely share what he's going through when he comes back. And I just ask for prayers for the whole Overton family, of course, including, myself and the kids. And I want to please beg you to send in your stories so you do not have to listen to me Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I would love to listen to you, the lifers, tell your stories. And you know what? If you don't have a story to tell, if you do not want to retell a story like we do, if you don't have a story, a personal story that you want to share, and you want to just send in a review, a verbal review, a verbal something, anything that you want to talk about, this is your time behind the mic. And I might, true crime, no, lifers behind the mic. I don't know. I kind of made up. I kind of like Woody. Woody has his best thoughts when he's like half awake and half asleep, that sweet spot for him. I kind of do the same thing. The difference between me and Woody is Woody actually remembers his thoughts. I don't. So when I had this thought of doing the lifer stories, I actually got my phone and typed it in so I would not forget. But I just want to thank you so much for listening. And I want to thank you for your support. And I beg you to please continue in your fight for justice for Haley. Just because we did the call to action, just because emails have been sent, phone calls have been made, just because last Friday you did not get a Justice for Haley episode does not mean we're done. We don't just like wipe our hands clean and say, okay, we did our job. It's up to the, court system now, or it's up to the DA, it's up to the investigator. No, lifers, we're just getting our fight started. Woody has laid it out. Miss Barbara has laid it out. Stella and Tyler have laid it out. You have videos. You have everything except autopsy pictures. There are a few text messages, but everything that you need to fight and do your CTA and, which is a call to action, follow through with the CTA, keep sending those emails, reword them, reframe them, thank them for getting the lead investigator on the scene, thank them for acknowledging it, whatever, use, honey gets more flies than vinegar, however it goes, just be gracious and grateful to them. Do whatever you want to do, like Woody says. However you want to do it, you do it. But we have not forgotten about Haley. We will never forget about Haley. We will continue to fight for justice for Haley as long as we have to. And as we learned in Courtney Coco's case, even once the evidence was handed over in a pretty bow-tied package that Woody made for Alexandria, they still have to go and do their own investigation and prove that everything that, Woody gave them was correct. And they ended up finding more information. This isn't anywhere near over. Please do not stop. And so 2 weeks ago was just a couple more things before we go. 2 weeks ago was National Crime Victims Week. We were grateful because it coincided with the week that we dropped the call to action for Haley. But all of April has something that we talk about on this show as an awareness week. Or it's an awareness month. So this is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, Child Abuse Prevention Month. And well, what does that mean, right? So why do we have this? What can we do? Well, you can look up searches and there's things in your communities. Every community treats this different. For us, with our Justice For series on Fridays, we wore pink for Justice for Courtney or red. We put pink lights on our porch lights and lit those lights up and sent pictures in and flooded Facebook with that. With Justice for Haley, we do sunset pictures and sunrise pictures. And that's the way we've gone with her. And at some point, once this goes to court and Brooks is charged with murder, we will probably pick a light color and light our houses up that color in support. And so that's what people do. So for example, to show your support for child abuse awareness, you wear blue. So you can do that. And what made me think of this was with LA running in the Crescent City Classic yesterday. It was so touching, so emotional because I was watching all of these runners run and they were running with strollers. They were running with an American flag, not just like holding an American flag, pinned to their body, like an American flag on a wooden stick, a pole, carrying that for this run. There was a man in a whole full fireman suit doing the run. And I know that a lot of firemen do that for 9/11. They climb the stairs, they all go to a gym and they walk on the stepper and they climb as many flights of stairs as the World Trade Centers. And they do, things like that. Well, there was people running with certain colors on, all one color. There was people running with t-shirts that had, their own causes on them. There were so many people running, pushing wheelchairs. And I just sat there and I cried. I mean, I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I did. I cried. It hit me. Every single person running that has a why. Like for LA, his why is for health and fitness and pushing his body and setting a goal and achieving it. And for others, it was whatever theirs is. And it was very, very touching, and it made me want to do more for victims. It made me want to do more to advocate for people that cannot advocate for themselves. So anyway, I thank you for listening to me ramble today, and I'm going to end it here. I hope you have a blessed day.